today's video, I'm going to attempt to fix the paint scratches in my 2003 Ford Expedition. Alright, as you can see on this truck, my wife and I recently purchased this truck, and one of the things I knew I'm going to have to fix on it was some of these paint scratches. Looks like someone went down it with a key. And these two are definitely the worst out of the bunch. As you can see, they are rusting, and I need to try to get to these sooner than later. This one's already starting to flake out a little bit, so this is not going to be a professional paint restoration. Into the plastic there. This is not going to be a professional paint restoration. This is just to stop the bleeding, so to speak. I'm going to attempt to fix it with this scratch fix all-in-one. This is a Paint Code JP Silver Birch Metallic. I wanted to buy an actual spray can, aerosol can. There's a couple spots on here that I just think would be better if I just kind of fogged on a replacement, fogged on a paint. Got a little bit of rust in this channel up here. It would just be a lot easier if I could just get at the rust and just spray paint it. I may have to get on the Google machine and some surface rust coming in. Channel here, got a little bit on the top. That'd be a lot easier to fix with the spray can than it would be with this, so that's what I'm going to try to do. But today, all I'm going to do, since I don't have the spray can or primer or anything like that, I'm just going to try to get the rust out and just touch these up enough. I'm not a paint and body guy. Years ago, I helped a friend of mine paint my Firebird, but that was over 20 years ago. Since forgot most of what he tried to teach me then. So let's get after it. I'm going to attempt to just fill in this plastic piece first, just to kind of make sure that the paint's matching right before I go into digging into any sanding or anything on these other ones. First things first, I'm going to come back here on this plastic piece. I know I don't necessarily have to sand on this. I just want to test the brush on it, make sure that this paint is a good match. Pretty deep scratch here, so this little fine tip is doing the trick. Initially wanted to try to use the brush on this, but the brush is really quite wide. I didn't want to glob it on here so thick that it would be hard to deal with. Let it run. This seems to be doing the trick as far as filling this channel. Ain't perfect, which I wasn't looking for perfect, just looking for something to take the ugly off of it a little bit. So it's kind of hard to catch up on camera here, but looks like the paint color is pretty good. Back over this a little bit that I hit earlier and try to get some of these globs off. All right, I'll probably go back over that again. I don't know if the paint's not mixing well, but it looks a little bit more yellow compared to the silver that's around it. Shake it up some more. All right, I'm gonna try to find which one of these scratches is the smallest. Maybe that one right there. Work on trying to get some of this rust out of this little tiny one here, maybe. Start with this one and then work my way to the bigger ones as I get better at what I'm doing here. And so I found this little one right here. And I'm trying to get focused here. Basically, I went into it and I'm actually spreading it, getting the paint taken off quite a bit around it, trying to get all of the rust off and just getting the bare metal so I don't have any rust returning. And then I'll fill it with paint. All right, so there's the first rust repaired touch-up. Not terrible. No longer rusty colored. My son's trying to help me, give me some pointers. All right, so I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna try this little one up here next, and then we'll work on the bigger ones. But these are kind of the before shots here. Again, before shots. Down the back door here. Basically, I'm just gonna get all the rust out that I can and just create a channel. See, you can see the kind of bubbling underneath the paint. I'm gonna try to get all that paint out. Get her down some metal here. You helping, bud? He's riding the scooter around. Your scooter? Just don't hit the van. I don't want you to fix any more scratches. Just seems counterintuitive to be digging in so hard on this paint, but got to get down to the metal, keep the rest from coming back. It's really hard to zoom in with my phone here, but it's looking pretty decent. Again, not perfect, but just trying to get the rust out, and again, just getting the noticeable rust off of it. One of the things you'll realize when you're working on body panels, when you add the paint, gravity wants to bring it all down, so just apply a little bit at a time, just a tiny bit at a time. And I actually globbed too much on, wiped it off, got it cleaned up, and then I reapplied. Try to get a little bit lighter, one little dot, and then spread it around. It's probably gonna be enough. Now the dog wants help. Lilo, what are you doing? Come here. Here, pup. Ooh, good puppy. Good puppy. Good puppy. You gonna help me fix the truck? Hmm? You help me fix the truck? These are 15-week-old Heinz 57 mix. All right, so I'm getting after these now. Trying to get the rust out. All right, doesn't look awesome up close, but you get back a little bit, it's fine. A few down, several more to go. just take your time. It's actually not that hard really, just to kind of clear out the scratch with the bristle brush. Just takes a long time, especially when you got a 3-year-old helper trying to help you. But still making progress. Basically, I get a blob of it and I try to scoot the paint into it. As it starts to cure, it wants to pull it right back out. Every time you plunge the tip on this thing, man, that's way too much. Great. I guess another pointer is don't try to fill the whole scratch in one swoop. Just get enough of it in there to kind of seal her off and then come back in with another coat. Because I'm going to go back in, try to fill these a little bit more because you can still see the groove in it. See if I can kind of build up the paint layer in there to make it a little bit more smooth and flush. It's going to be bubbly, it's going to be ugly. And then I'm pretty sure you can probably go back over it with some fine sandpaper and work your way to smaller grits and kind of wet sand it smooth, and then go back over it with some polish and maybe just get it all out. But so far, got 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. You can kind of see how they're erasing the red stripes off the vehicle. Another thing to consider is as you're working on this, probably should start with the small scratches first, like I'm kind of doing here, because as you use this tip, it's going to wear out your fine tip. It's going to wear out this point there. That way you can have a nice fine edge to get the thin scratches, and then by the time you get done with those, you'll have more of a blunt object to be able to get the larger scratches. So just something to consider with these types of pens that I've noticed while I'm using it. I don't know if there's any temperature range I'm working with paint on a car, but it is hotter than Saved by the Bell's Kelly Kapowski out here. Now I'm starting to get into some of the more aggressive scratches. This fiberglass pen, it's doing okay. Probably actually need to get some actual sandpaper. But you can see here there's some paint flake, so I'm going to try to back this up enough with a little pick here to get underneath the rust. Impromptu rain shower kind of cooled me off a little bit. Also kind of messing up workspace here. I pretty much have worn any kind of a decent tip off the end of this thing. It's becoming more blunt. So I think what I'm going to have to do on a lot of these larger ones, I'm just not getting the rust out like I was on the smaller ones with the fine tip on it. So I've got some 120. It's probably way too aggressive, but I'm just going to try to use a little bit of an edge of it to try to get this down as much as I can. I do not want the rust to come back, so I got to get all of it off the metal. So probably going to be causing way more work than I need to, but at this point it is what it is. I really can't do anything about it. Alright, so this is doing much better. I got my little poker in there for some structural integrity, and I'm just small swirling motions. It's allowing me to open up the paint a little bit to get to that rust. Probably opening it too much, probably taking away too much material, that I'm kind of bypassing the purpose of these little touch-up pens and probably need to go much further into deeper paint correction. You can yell at me in the comments if I'm doing this wrong, but that's what I've got. That's what I'm doing. I'm just going to keep repeating these steps until I get it cleared out, and then I'll go back over it with some paint. Well, this is escalating quickly. Just trying to get down to some shiny. And I just used the paintbrush end of this thing. Coated it pretty nice. Again, just going to hit it with one coat for now, come back over it. But for right now, looks better than the red stripes. Again, if you get right up on it, obviously you can tell there's a problem, but a few more coats of that, maybe it'll fill it in a little bit thicker. So, not too shabby from where I started, kind of before and after here. And then I got to keep working on this one. This one's going to get a lot bigger here. That one was a pain. This one's going to be even worse. So just keep scratching away at it. Just taking my poker and then just pinching it in there, giving myself something to hold on to. And I'm just going through the scratch. That paint applicator, the brush actually goes pretty wide, so I'm not too worried about if I get a little bit of scratching on the outside of my line here. Just trying to go after these large pieces, and it wears that out pretty quick, so I just keep rotating. Kind of doing an up and down swirls motion and side to side. Alright, more progress has been made. I gotta be careful I don't get too low. I'm just putting swirl marks. Pretty much keep going till you don't get any more rust. If you see through the panel, you've gone too far. Just take it slow, take it easy. I'm just keep pulling back some of the paint until I can get to a point where I'm not scratching away any more rust. Pretty big improvement from where we were visually. Didn't have the just real noticeable rust marks on it. Obviously I still got one more to go, but she's coming together. Again, get right up on it, you see it real bad. Not too worried about that. My wife was out here earlier, already gave me the seal of approval. She likes how just can't see the rest already. So once I get this side done, I'm gonna move around the truck, see if there's any other little areas that need touching up. One more of those dudes to go. And this sandpaper is doing a lot quicker of a job than that little fiberglass tip on there. So peel back this paint a little bit, get down to the rust underneath, and wrap this thing up because it's hot out here. So just working on this large piece here, I was able to kind of get a couple of bubbles that were up here. Got them down. Hopefully that'll stop spreading. Going after the big one here. Just trying to get it sanded smooth enough. Got a little bubble here. And a little bubble there. I don't know if I'm gonna mess with that or not. Probably will. Probably should leave it alone. I'm not going to. Alright, got that one scratched away. At this point, it's kind of like picking scabs. I should probably stop, but it's kind of hard not to. Maybe go after that one there. Oop, got that one under there too. Alright, so here's a little bit of an after shot. At least they circled the problem. As you can see on that walkthrough, there's more to be done. These are really deep. Obviously I got through several layers of paint, primer and all that to get to the surface metal, get it cleaned up from the rust. Again, I don't really care how bad it looks right now. I'm just trying to keep it from getting worse. It is what it is for this vehicle, what we need to get done. Checking the radar, there's a lot of rain coming, so I'm gonna shut her down for the day. Pretty much got it touched up to what I want. Still have to get up onto the roof, get that cleaned up. I'm gonna wait till I get an aerosol spray can of paint for that. There's just so much surface area that I need to cover. I also went up to the front, touched up this corner. There's a couple of scratches on the corner. Touched up some of the door handles. There's some nicks on the door handles. All right, so I got another little mini installment for the 2003 Ford Expedition exterior. So I've touched up the paint a little bit on the side. I still have to do the roof. But searching the interwebs, found a guy selling a set of wheels off of a Ford F-150 6 lug that had virtually brand new tires on it for $400. So I bought them. So got the Steelies off of there, which had 3 of the same tire and 1 of a different brand on it. And these are all Goodyear Wranglers, 17-inch. It's got an aluminum rim. These Goodyear Wranglers have more road noise to them than the previous tire. Of course, these have more of a all-terrain tread on them. These had more of a passenger tire tread on them. This came off, I think, a 2009 F-150. Again, what I paid the money for in my mind was getting virtually brand new tires for $400 instead of $700, $800, $900, depending on where you go. So, pretty pleased with the look. I mean, they definitely look better than the steel wheels. I'm not saying that these rims are in that great a shape, but they're getting the job done. Praise the Lord, I got a great deal on them. Was able to get virtually a new set of tires for really cheap, so that's a blessing. Thank God for that.